in all his good races, he makes the front.
Yeah.
I just
So maybe Joel will send. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think it helps for program trading. He's going to get pace.
Yeah.
Someone's going with some.
He's not that slow, but they should be moving a little bit in here. We'll see what happens in the Bernard Baruch race number 4. We'll break after 6 today. I don't know about you. This race, we'll take a look at Killy Start, who you have on top and I have second. You know, I got to tell you something. This voided claim thing, it's a great idea. It works in some ways. It does need to be tweaked. I'm tired of seeing horses winning and coming back, and it's almost a distraction. You know what I mean? For handicapping, too many horses are having voided claims off wins and coming back and winning. That just doesn't, that to me says that something's not working.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, and I'm not in depth in the process, so I try to dance around the topic. But I actually think
it's a great idea. I'm not criticizing the idea.
But I think when horses have claims voided and they come back, I think that's like a license to drop, because you could kind of deter some folks.
That's a great point.
And then there might be something that's just who the horse is, and then he's gonna get voided again.
Yeah,
It's
just not working.
Yeah.
It works in certain ways, but yeah.
It is a great idea. Because it is built.
And I'm sure that there's good parts to it.
Yeah,
but they need to find a way to make it better. Brian's making his way in. One of our loyalist customers. Good man. Yeah, I've got her second here. I'll be honest with you. I struggled mightily with this race. I could see the number 8 Whistler Style. I just don't like her lack of speed. As far as whatever the 7's name actually is, it's been too long a meet for me to try to pronounce that. I don't love horses claimed from David Jacobson. It's just kind of a disaster claiming from him. Having said that, this horse has races good enough. I feel like Flying P's been waiting in the wings for some late meet drop downs to get the money, and I put this one on top, but I got to tell you, I'm not enthused. And you've got the horse second, and I'm guessing you feel about the same way I do.
Yeah, I just feel like one of these two horses is going to win. I feel like one of these two horses is going to win by 5.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those deals where one of them is going to be much better than the rest of the group.
What about these apples? I think he's a little bit dressed up because its better races seem to be on other surfaces. You know what I mean? But it was claimed, and he does drop down. And I'm not going to be shocked if this horse is effective. You didn't have any interest in him?
No, I mean, I think with the other two, with Killy Start and with the 7, I think those horses make sense while they're dropping. Like, I understand why they're dropping, and they're dropping. Right. I think to win. It feels like the 3 is dropping to move on.
Okay, race number 4. Race number 5. A lot of firsters, probably a lot going on in here. I feel like the 2 Party and the Army was scratched early at the meet, and I remember someone telling them they liked the horse. That's why I put her second. I have the 12 on top. You have him second. He's another Yalpon who's off to such a good start, and I thought I would show his sales work from Timonium, where he worked 22 seconds on the sloppy track at Timonium, which is reasonable for there. Been training mostly at Monmouth, shipped up for one work, and I'm just guessing this one's probably a bit of a runner. They paid an awful lot of money for this horse.
$700,000, and this was the sale for people that weren't paying attention, where they basically midway through the sale they decided to stop breezing on the track. This was the early day, so they did breeze. Right. Yeah. So you don't have a lot to compare it to in terms of the time, but if they decided to spend $700 on this horse, obviously there's some talent there. I just felt like it was going to be overbet, and we talked about this horse yesterday on the show. I had mentioned to you the 9, the one that I landed on, 3-2-1. This horse has 4 siblings. 3 of them ran and won first time out. So there's just a level of precocity here that I just couldn't pass up at 12-1. The horse could be bad. I've got no clue. But I liked the idea that the family likes to run early.
You missed the Buck Butler wedding, though, yesterday when he won with the firster at 8-1.
This could be another wedding.
Listen, they're very live, these horses. I'm not discounting them at all. I've got the 11 in there as well for the George Weaver. Flavian Pratt rides this one, going out for Randy Hill. I mean, the second foal, the first foal ran 70 buyers. It's not that bad. I mean, there isn't a significant amount of breeding here. There is some pedigree for Ken McPeak's horses. Stick Up Without a Gun, who I've got 4th in here, because Kenny has had some decent success. Here's a number. Maiden second start turf to dirt, turning back, 3 for 7. Isn't that kind of interesting? 2-year-olds, maiden, second start, turf to dirt. He's 6 for 27, $1.91 ROI. This has been a move that's worked for Kenny, and he unveiled a nice-looking firster for Harold Lerner yesterday.
Yeah, this one's
nice.
Harold Lerner as well.
This looks like a fun race. See what happens in race number 5. Anybody else to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, I used the 2 like you did. No, I used all the same ones you did the rest of the way.
You've got the 9 because you've got the theory, but we agree in most ways in other races. Race number 6, another race that just gave me a massive headache. It would have been nice, Linda, if you told me that you would scratch both horses from here. It would have been a lot easier to handicap this race. Do you think there's any chance that Catchphrase wires? You obviously do. You've got her on top. I'm not a fan of Catchphrase. I don't trust her. She's got to get 6.5. She's been going 7, though. But I got to tell you, she is loose as can be in here.
Yeah, I don't trust her at all. The one thing the theory that led me there is that in her 3 races where she's made the lead and she's been run down, the horses that ran her down are much better than these.
Yeah, I have no.
And I'm just hoping that she gets out there and these 17.5s don't run her down. That was it.
I have no problem with that. She could certainly win. Going through the others, you've got Florida Power, Flying P. I think it's Rapoli Stable 11 wins, Klarovich 8, 7 for Flying P. They're dropping a lot of horses. Now this horse they claim fairly cheaply. I don't think Florida Power is impossible. I kind of like the cutback. You've got her 3rd in here. I put Harlan's Bond on top. That's a pretty big rider change to Flavian Pratt. And I'm not a big betting on rider change horses, but this is a big rider change to Flavian on a horse that's run figures that are hovering around good enough and is going to be a big price. And I'm looking to the race, and I even thought that Santa Gata cutting back in distance was a little bit interesting. And I think a key for him is drawing outside. He needs to be outside. What are you guys doing? We having some fun here? Guys, hello.
You said outside.
Hi, Andy, Jonathan, talking horses. No idea what that was. Thank you for that, though. That keep me. Eddie, I don't blame you for that. It was your birthday the other day. I'm just going to take Harlan's Band, a horse that's at times run well enough on the rider change. But I got to tell you, I'm not excited by anybody in this race. And I'm guessing that the favorite's scratched, right? So the one's going to end up being the favorite, according to David? Were they the first and second choices, these horses on the line? Congratulations. Thank you for that, Linda. We didn't have enough.
It was 5 to 1. The horse player should be lucky this isn't in the pick 6.
You've got best impression second. I couldn't bet a nickel on that. I thought that was one of the ugliest wins of the meet in a bit of an ugly field.
Yeah, just the horses ran well for 2 different trainers. It's a respect play for Marshall Graham 10 strike. I think they do well with these types of horses. Oh, and I think the horse will appreciate that race 2 races back going to 7. If they run that race again but going 6.5, they could be tough.
That last race was ugly, I got to tell you. All right, that's the first 6. We'll be back with the pick 6, and maybe we'll show you what that video actually was. We'll be right back.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions. And hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, Jonathan and Andy, and we are fast and firm now. We will get that updated as soon as possible. The main track now listed as fast. No big surprise there. So race 7, this is it. This is the moment. Schwarzenegger is debuting. I almost picked against him. There's just been too much talk, but I will tell you something. Wesley Ward is bucking a trend. He has had no success with his 2-year-old first-time starters and turf sprints up here for quite a while. But this one is supposed to be good, and they, I assume, scratched the other half of the entry to make sure he got in.
Yeah, because he was on the AEs because he's been scratched so many times.
Well, last time Wes didn't want to run from the rail.
Yeah.
And now he's got the outside post. Presumably he wants to run from an outside post.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be
the
Terminator.
It's a sneaky move for Wesley, right? You enter one so that you can control the body.
Well, he could have been. There could have been 4 also eligibles, and he could have been the last one.
You never know. At least you have some control over it, though.
Wesley's a clever man.
Look, I mean, what are you going to do? I wanted to try to get cute, too, because he's going to be the next fastest horse in the world by about 3:52 p.m. today. But
Didn't that outrigger, who was the greatest 2-year-old since sliced bread, run in the Prix de Mornay and finished 3rd?
Outfielder.
Yeah, outfielder. What did I say?
I believe it was outfielder.
It's outfielder, yeah.
Yeah, you said outrigger, I think.
Outrigger, outfielder. They're probably, who knows at this point.
Yeah.
I thought about putting green screen on top. This horse has plenty of pedigree for Graham Motion, and I love the Oscar performances, and I thought this horse was very, very interesting as an alternative. I thought about going 10-1A. I'm just too much of a wimp.
This is kind of feels like a Graham thing to do where he gives, the pedigree says a little bit longer. No, they just run him in the sprint.
I'm going to bet you're wrong. I'll bet you this horse runs well today.
All right.
I don't know, we can bet.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right, but Graham doesn't have these outstanding numbers, sprint to stretching out. So I'm not sure it's something he uses a lot, you know?
We can do a head-to-head. We've got 8-1 morning line. I'll take the 4, and you take the 10.
Bet.
Okay.
10 versus 4, drinks in New York.
There it is.
Lunch. Back in
Cafe
New York.
Luxembourg.
Excellent. I miss Cafe Lux. None of my friends in there came to visit me. I'm a little disappointed. They threatened to come, but they never came. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's look at a replay. Let's look at Brooklyn Styles and Free State. Free State dueled with the winner and got just completely devoured. Is this a better Kevin Rice horse than showed? Maybe. Brooklyn Styles, I thought ran pretty well in here, sitting off the pace, losing to the monster they ran. I just don't know if this was that good a race overall, though I think the winner's okay.
Yeah, Free State was bet, too.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Rice gets bet, you know,
Yep.
for good reason. He wins.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I preferred Brooklyn Styles because his race was just a little bit more consistent. He was just,
I agree.
So I preferred him because he was more consistent. I wouldn't talk anyone off.
What is your thing with the 4?
Oh, I mean, you get IRAD. There's the works have been right there on time.
Under.
We saw Brad Cox do this the other day with a first-time starter.
Okay, wait a second. Brad Cox has horrible numbers with 2-year-old firsters and turf sprints. That horse was like the 4th best horse in the race and won. I mean, there were trips in there galore for horses, to be fair.
But this horse has so many works. I just feel like we're going to get a fit horse.
You don't think running on the turf is kind of a give-up on Brad's part?
No, because
The Yalpon? Okay. 10's going to beat him. 10's going to beat him.
All right, well,
okay,
let's see.
You know.
Let's see.
I'm even laying 2-1 because it'll be U and G. But at least we get our company. Race number 8. But get excited. Schwarzenegger leading off the pick 6. And at least this is in the first race, and this one's the second. You can see some money a little bit in these races. So, race number 8. I had a video, but I think, yeah, we got a video. Connect the Stars and Miss Picky, who didn't, oh, she got in, right? She got in, Miss Picky. They scratched the 1 to get her in. We can show that video. I thought they ran okay, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Scratch It didn't run. They ran okay to be
ran
second.
fine.
Today,
Yeah, ran fine. This was a tricky race because the pace wasn't all that quick.
Yep.
I used to default to a horse like Connect the Stars just because like the pace wasn't fast. Connect the Stars is closing into it, and I do typically with older horses, but with younger horses that don't have a lot to work with in terms of their form. I think that you can be misled, like Scratch It. In a normal world, I would toss Scratch It, getting loose on the front end and winning. But you don't know for sure. They might run better. It's just you only have one piece of evidence on who they were based on that one performance.
But you have gone to Miss Picky on top from the outside post.
Yeah, I think this horse is going to improve second time out. I thought that although that pace wasn't particularly quick, this horse basically ran a very similar race to Scratch It.
Right. I got it. Okay.
A little bit more tactical. Yeah.
I'm going to be surprised when there aren't better first-time starters. Late in the meet race for the 2-year-old fillies, trying to get a win to a maiden, trying to get to the Miss Grillo or a stake at Keeneland. I got to think there's some horses in here that can run better than the horses in that race, and that's sort of where I went. I picked the half till She Feels Pretty on top in here because she's a half to She Feels Pretty. I just think it's dangerous, with her, with that pedigree. I've got concurrently second. I know nothing about this horse, but it is a Chad Brown. It doesn't have a ton of turf pedigree, but it's an American Pharaoh. So these horses seem to run for him. And I just feel like, and I've got Princess Andy. I mean, they named this horse for Chad's daughter, who obviously Andy's kitten was named for as well. And they bought the horse. Would they really name a horse for her that if they didn't think the horse could run a little bit? And once again, I have no information whatsoever. But you and I are on slightly different. I mean, you've got the same horses as me, but second, third, and fourth. I just feel like the ones that ran, I want a new face in here. Some firster's going to win here.
Yeah, I mean, if this was 25 years ago and everyone didn't know that She Feels Stunning was a half that She Feels Pretty, I probably would have picked her on top, but I think the value's going to be kind of sucked out of her a little bit because of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I also don't imagine Cherie leading her over here.
Yeah. I was talking to Cherie a bunch about some of her 2-year-olds earlier in the meet, but there's very little that I remember that took place before yesterday. So, I don't know about you, but I feel like you ever see the movie Memento?
I don't think so.
The movie that's told backwards, the mystery that's told. Johnny, you've seen Memento, right? It's a great movie. It's Christopher Nolan's second movie. Christopher Nolan made Oppenheimer and all his great movies.
Let's see if I've seen it. Sometimes I just have to
I guarantee you would like Memento. I'm going to guess that G's seen it actually.
Probably.
She's a little more erudite than you are. A little being an operative word there. Memento's a great movie.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, it was Nolan's second movie, and obviously he's become one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. We done? Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Race 9. This is a really good race, race 9. Baby Yoda. At least Jonathan and I are picking against Baby Yoda. This is 2 back. I thought this subtly was a big inside track that day at Aqueduct. And listen, Baby Yoda, at times, comes up with these huge races, and maybe today is going to be one of them. But Lightman's got to go outside of him. Comedy Town is supposed to be going towards the inside already. He at least has to leave to get position in there. And I don't know. I just feel like he's an all-or-nothing type horse, right? And
half the time he runs well. Almost literally half the time.
Yeah,
14 times he runs well out of 31, and the other half he doesn't. And the price that he's going to be, it's not worth me predicting this to be one. And he's in here for a tag. He's in here for 100 for the first time. So
wow.
Right?
I don't even get paid that much money for this horse. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know. Well, he's a 7-year-old gelding. You can't blame him.
Yeah,
no, but it's interesting, yeah. After all that, there's just no love.
I mean, he had days of Breeders' Cup sprint favorite
when he
type
beat
performances.
Olympiad ran a 107 buyer running second at 7-1. When I bet him that day, it still annoys me. It really was one of the all-time more ridiculous beats. Discreet Mischief, who you have on top, he's another one. When he runs his good races, he's very good. He just doesn't seem to have enough consistency. Yeah, he can be good.
Yeah, I mean, he feels a little Baby Yoda. He's got that one big number, but he's a little bit more lightly raced, a little bit more meat on the bone.
And Nick Tamero woke Brad up, huh? I woke Pletcher up earlier in the meet when I declared him finished, and he won 3 races in the first 4 races of the day or something. And he's continuing on. It's been a sensational meet. Brad's been doing nothing but winning lately.
Yeah, I think this horse is going to run well. I think you're going to get one of those aggressive rides, kind of hold that pocket position. He should, he'll have enough speed to be able to get forward.
You think he's going to be pocketed here?
Yeah, I think because they'll run away from him. I think he's going to end up right in that spot. Man, he's aggressive away from there. Okay. I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be sitting second, but he could be third.
I don't think that's possible, but we'll agree to disagree. That's what I worry about a little with him. And I want El Grande O, I think, will be closer. And hopefully the rider today will be a little more aggressive with him to get position. He's caught muddy sealed tracks in his last 2 starts, and I know he's handled them before. You go back and you look at the 2 races he ran on dry tracks before that, and they're both fast enough to win here. This horse that's run other fast races, and I'm hoping getting back to a dry track, this is his win over Victory Way back on December 6th, and I think he runs a race like this, he can win.
Yeah, I've got no problem with him in here. I mean, I think his last 2 starts, you could give some excuses, right? He had some trouble last time. The start before that, it was on a sloppy racetrack in the rain. Then, like you mentioned, you get back to the dirt races.
He had real trouble.
And even before then, his 3-year-old races where he was, probably trying to go a little bit farther than he wanted. Those were all not bad
2-year-old races. He's running mid-80 Buyers as a 2-year-old.
Yep.
He's good. I like El Grandeo today. See what happens in race 9. Anybody else? Blight Man ran well last time. I don't want to completely discount him. David Aragona is going to pick him every time he runs the rest of his career. It makes it easy for him. He always has him on top. He ran well last time. Race number 10. This is a fun one. What did you doing here?
I scratched into the 7. I was going to pick the 4, Capital Gal.
She can
but
win.
Yeah, it was a scratch-in situation. I don't have a compelling case.
I like the cutback for. You're not cutting back. I'm sorry. What I like is, I don't understand what Dylan was doing on her last time. She was a horse that easily could have been forward in that race, easily, and she just dropped back to last. I just didn't think it was the best of rides, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say about her, and we talk about this often up here, is that a lot of horses get caught in no man's land between the 9 and the 7 because we don't card the mile that much. And the one thing I'll say is when horses can handle the 9, and I thought Kara's Dreamer ran well enough last time. That's not why she got beat. She didn't get beat because of the distance.
No, she got. Maybe she wasn't good enough, but I just thought it was a surprising ride given where she rated to be in that race.
Right.
That was what surprised me, and I think you want to at least try to be a little bit more forward today. Now, Rodeo Star is out, which changes, obviously, the complexion of this race. We lost a couple of horses coming out of here. The 1, the 4, the 5 even was forward in here. And, I think that, interestingly, allows a horse like higher force, perhaps, with Romero's aggressive to clear. We've got a 4th. But she all of a sudden becomes a little more interesting. I'm just not a big fan. And I got to tell you, I don't love a horse claimed away from George Weaver. And Rudy's struggling in this meet. Though, I'll tell you what, claim from George Weaver in routes, how about this one? 17% with a positive ROI. So, and over 45% of it the board. So the numbers aren't terrible claim from George.
Yeah, Rudy tried to MTO the horse a couple of times, too. I've always found that as like a
smart move.
Yeah.
Rudy's very smart in the MTOs.
Of course.
Rudy's always ready with the MTOs.
But I also, it is very smart because I believe it's a little bit of a sign of weakness.
Well, except sometimes it's just there aren't races for them to go in. And it's like I got to try to find a race for the horse. The horse is ready, and if it should rain off, I can run in here. I think that's what it is a lot of the cases. Originally, I did not like Boxed Wine at all. I actually think he's a bit interesting that they would claim him. He was entered MTO in a race, and now he's in a dirt race. It's like they really wanted to get to the dirt. And his dirt race was a 6-furlong race where he didn't do much running back in a long time ago. And I just wonder if maybe, what he really needed was more distance, and it wasn't necessarily a surface thing. She's very sneaky in here because, man, she's found the right field. And by the way, if you're worried about her last race, she got eliminated by the winner, by the way, on the first turn of that race, eliminated. And so basically, Ricardo eased her after that. So her last race to me is of no concern.
Yeah, and look, I've said it already. I'll say it again. I was giving a lot of credit. You got to handicap the connections around here sometimes too. And we all know that Flying P is going to make a run for it. They're going to run as many horses as they possibly can between now and Monday to see if they can't make a race out of it.
Yeah, and when people say they're trying to win it, it's like these trainers. I remember somebody who said to me, I remember where Todd was once like second to Chad by a bunch and said, "Boy, Todd's really emptying out his barn." And I said, So is Chad.
Yeah, they all are.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. What they say it. Somebody said it to me like, yeah, and I thought, why shouldn't he? It's not like he's trying to win with these horses. He's trying to win races.
The thing about it is when you say emptying the barn, that means that you're putting them for sale. So someone can buy them. There's a consequence for what they're doing.
You're going to see it in the last week especially with Linda Rice, Todd Pletcher, all close enough to Chad Brown to catch him. Yeah, they want to win races. They want to win the training title. I mean, the training title is really funny around here because it matters, and then it doesn't. It matters for about an hour, and it's fun. It's more fun, and I think these things are more fun a little for the fans. Look, there's ego involved, and it matters to the trainers. It certainly does. But in a week, it's all forgotten about.
I also think it matters a lot to the grooms,
of course,
to the hot walkers, to the exercise riders, the assistant trainers. They spend a lot of time with each other, and to have that badge of honor to walk around when they go back downstate and they won the meet, it's good for them.
The good thing for the people that do so much of the work is that when the horses run poorly, they don't get any fingers pointed at them. The bad thing is when there's success, nobody's giving them the credit that they deserve, and I agree with that. I picked Margot Treasure. Katie Davis may have had one of the greatest days I've ever seen in racing yesterday. She almost knocked Kendrick over early in the day and got disqualified. She fouled Flavien Prat and claimed foul against him later in the day. And then she won the last race with a very, very difficult horse to like. Right? It was a crazy day. And with Margot Treasure, I like that she's inside. She's got a pedigree to go the distance. I thought her last race was fast enough, arguably against some better horses than she's facing today. And she's see if she can handle the distance. She is a Vino Rosso, and I thought maybe she'd be a slightly better price. This was a very tricky race.
I like when horses that don't have a lot of speed, but I need to be closer, draw the rail. Because then I feel like it increases the chances.
It brings them a little more into the race.
A little bit more aggression to try to hold the position than might be natural. You break from the 9, you're just going to let the horse kind of fall out of the gate.
Especially in a mile and eighth around here.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
We'll see what happens. Anyway, we've got the same 4 horses, just in slightly different directions. Not an easy pick 6 carryover.
No.
So Jonathan and I have a bit of a disagreement in race number 11. I think it's a big scratch, the 9 coming out. I thought she was extremely interesting for Graham. Something must have gone wrong. Graham's actually here. I saw him yesterday. We'll show dynamic pricing, winning the Just a Game. She didn't run as well in a very tough Diana. I think dynamic pricing is a horse that was extraordinarily unlucky in a lot of very big races last year where she ran wide trips against biases over and over again and kept running really well. It's obviously a firm turf, but we did get enough rain that maybe it's a little bit fairer than it's been, and that does worry me a little bit because she's probably better with more give in the ground. But her Bogey was a very firm turf. I thought she ran really well. I just think if she runs her race, she's going to win, and I think she's finally this year starting to not have bad luck and come to fruition. If she runs her race, she's the worst to beat.
I just think Proctor Street is sneaky, really good.
Show her last race.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the race, when she ran against tax implication, we talked about at the top of the show, Tax is running in the first race. If you look back through Proctor Street's past performances, like she really doesn't have a bad race. Even her Winter Memories, where she was 5th, wasn't that bad.
Actually, she ran pretty well that day.
She's, her race 2 back off of the break, she had a lot of trouble in there. Especially at the start. I think she's really, really good. I think she takes a step up from here, and she ends up being one of those horses that gets, herself into the grade 2, grade 1 type category throughout the rest of the year and into next year. I think she's really good.
Anybody in here is thinking of the First Lady, I'm sure, at Keeneland in a perfect world situation. I want to see her improve. I scratched into her for second. I agree she might be okay. I have a question in here. Rakia, the number 2. We'll look at her win in the Goldacova. And she was favored over to Eddie. That was the cue that you had for the 6th race. I can wait. Seriously, I'll have some water while you get the Goldacova up there. Thank you. What has happened to her since then?
I don't know. She was good that day.
I mean, maybe this wasn't that good a field. I know Sacred Wish ran 3rd in there, and she was able to control. But today is the day to just put her on the front end. I know the problem with that, obviously, is New Rome, who you think is going to go.
But they also tried to put her on the front end last time. I think they tried to do that last time. She was 2-1, and it didn't work.
She ran so badly. Something went wrong.
I don't know. I was going to say that she needed firm, but she got it firm the other 2 starts. That's why she was a tricky one for me. I mean, I ended up using her because of that race 3 back. You get Flavien, who is going to be probably pretty aggressive trying to find forward position.
He is. We'll see what the 8 does, but she's quick, too. The 8's a need-to-lead type. She's got to go. Le Ray, who you have 4th in here. My problem with her is that her win over Dynamic was a little bit dressed up because she got a great rail trip where Dynamic was wide in there. And she's disappointed subsequently. But to be fair, I think her last race off a 9-month layoff, though she sat in the rail, she ran well enough that she could improve second time out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I scratched in, so she wasn't in my top 4. I scratched in. The reason I used her is her last 2 races, the paces weren't that quick. She was trying to close into them. I love a horse closing into a slow pace. I wouldn't need her. I would be fine, just for the record, just having the 5 and the 6 in multi-race wagers.
What about a Lilac Rolla? I mean, this is a Group 1 quality. She's losing to Porta Fortuna and Fallen Angel last year, who were really maybe the 2 best mile or 3-year-old fillies in Europe last year, and running well. When I don't know if John Stewart owned her then or he bought her after that. She comes back and runs Just a Game and is 8-1. It's money. She doesn't get out of the gate, and she was pitiful. But she has ability in there somewhere. Real ability.
A flashing 4th, and I'm on board. She was nowhere.
No,
Did no running.
But in a way, I think that's less bad. She just didn't show up at all. Listen, I'm not in love with her, but I am curious to see what she does today because somewhere in there is a horse that can compete in this race.
Certainly.
So I don't want to be completely dismissive of her. And a very interesting running of the Perfect Sting. Another race, by the way, that the racing office moved and came up a better race than it's come up in about since Perfect Sting was running. I was going to tease Jonathan and ask him who owned Perfect Sting.
Oh, how? I had no idea.
Frank's running.
Oh,
she was good. Joe
did he always have the Adena Spring silks, or did he used to have different silks before that?
Well, in my time of knowing who he was in racing, he had those.
Adena Spring.
But if you checked with Klaus, maybe he'd know. Race number 12. You know, I didn't run out of steam in race 12. Key Actress, we'll show her here. She's the horse to beat in this race. She ran fine last time. And she was a little against the track, frankly. She's way the horse to beat.
Yeah.
She was outside against the gold rail.
Very often we end our racing with these maiden claimers. And a lot of times the battle starts with, are the droppers well-meant droppers, or are they like they're never going to win maidens?
Yeah, right.
Whatever. These top two, the 1 and the 2, both to me feel like they're the type of horses that are going to be tough to beat.
I don't disagree. We'll see if Channel Check can run a little bit better in here. She does draw well on the rail, and I wouldn't be shocked. See, you've got her second. I'm going to bet the 10 Via Veneto. And it's not just because Philly Fnacci's had a good meet, but he has. But it is partly because it's going from Umberto Rispoli to Ira Ortiz. This was the day that Umberto wreaked havoc, right? When he buried like multiple runners. He buried Michael McCarthy's horse in the test. He buried Johannes in the. That was quite a day. She broke one slow. She had no speed. She totally dropped off. She was doing a little more than just that late fake running. And I think she's coming out of a pretty good race. Now, I don't disagree that race fell apart a little bit in the late stages, and that worked to her, but I think she's very interesting making her second start. Can you ride her?
Yeah, I mean, I have her. It's more of a give-up than I would like to see for a horse that appears ran pretty well.
Yeah, that's fair. They only paid $100,000 for her.
Yeah.
Though. I think the Microburst horse, we both have third Magnus Microburst, a little interesting. I think it would behoove Jose Gomez to be a little more aggressive. The problem is the 2 and 4 have speed as well, but I don't know how she ended up as far back as she did last time.
I would have picked this horse on top if she would have ran a little bit better last time. And that's based off of that July 3rd race where obviously she wasn't on the inside.
She ran well in there.
Yeah,
I agree. She ran really well in that race.
I thought she would have run much better in the last one.
She's a sneaky one in here. She's a sneaky one in this race. She's going to be a big price.
Dave Donk has those. I've conditioned my brain to he'll have a horse run well, not show up, come back, run well.
You know why? He's a Jets fan. Friend Wayne's a big Jets fan, so I always root for the Jets for him and for Dave, you know, because if you're not rooting for Dave Donk, you know, you can't root for anybody.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Our last Talking Horses of the Saratoga meet. I've enjoyed them. Appreciate you watching. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. I'm looking forward to going home and not having a card to handicap and not having the work to do.
That'll be tomorrow for you?
That will be tonight.
Tonight.
I will be completely
You'll be done before you leave here today.
Yes, I will.
Congratulations.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I appreciate that. Believe me.
It's a great accomplishment.
Great moment that day you've written down the picks for the last race you're going to handicap at Saratoga that summer. All right, what else do we have? We have the carryover, almost $86,000. We've got a contest till tomorrow post time, $300 buy-in. Get all the info at nairabets.com/contests. We've got a $10,000 hit and split. Opt in for that at Naira Bets. I've done it. You can do it. We've got a cross-country Big Five, a couple at Woodbine, 3 races here, including the Perfect Sting. She was very, very good, Perfect Sting, by the way. She had like a crazy record, like, of wins. And I think Joe Orsino was training her. I don't think that Patrick Byrne had her. Taste of New York Pavilion. You'll have a few more days for that. Check out all the good stuff made in New York. Near Gate A in the Family Zone. Giveaway. The quarter zip giveaway on Sunday. Going to be an amazing day of racing, including the best Jockey Club Gold Cup we've run in a long, long time. And last but not least, you figure this one out. Take a snapshot, put it in your phone, memorize it. There will be a quiz later. Looking forward to it. You're on early, Jonathan. I'm on late. Everybody, enjoy. Closing weekend coming to a start today. We've got 12 today, 13 tomorrow, 14 on Sunday, and 11 on Monday. So get to work. Carry over the Big Six today as well. Enjoy.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.